Good afternoon, Whisperers, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. I am your host, Sonya LaRae. I am a lifestyle relationship counselor, educator, and motivational speaker. You know how excited I am to be in this room with you all and to bring forth another dynamic discussion. Listen, if you're listening to us right now here on YouTube, make sure that you click that subscribe button, you like the episode, but most importantly, share it. That is what we're here for, to share and to pour into each other and to have an authentic conversation. I have to tell you, this week has been dynamic. I cannot begin to tell you that I've had the pleasure of speaking in so many different platforms this week and connecting with you all and being able to pour into our show. And also, we got a brand new show on Clubhouse, and my room is called The Round Table of Intention. And I am with Najam P. Lee. And we are having the discussions that are just bringing in the fire. We talked about this week, Are You Jaded? Oh my goodness, such a great crowd, such great input, people that just were like living to listen to it and to be a part of it. It is dynamic. You know what? I want to give a special shout out to my precious little butterfly who supports me in everything that I do and everything that I'm about here on Whispers in a Bottle. She is like my little voice that keeps pushing and champion for mommy. And I just appreciate her so much. And my husband for always being there for me as well. That allows me to come into this space in our safe zone to connect with each other and to do something as dynamic as this. So you know what? We have so much coming up on this show and things that I'm going to be sharing with you that you're not going to want to miss it. And you're going to want to stay to the end. And I'm even going to give you a cliffhanger today as well. So listen, if you want our mocktail or cocktail of the episode, you must join our fabulous newsletter. So you can get the cocktail or the mocktail of the episode that we have live on our 3 o'clock show on Whispers in a Bottle at Blog Talk Radio. I have to tell you, you will love that interaction with us and being a part of that as well. And I tell you, it's a dynamic thing. And you know what? I always encourage you all to join in on the conversation. You know, your girl loves to monitor a great chat box. So if you have a question or you have a comment or you want me to reiterate a topic or a point that I'm making today, use that comment box and drop your question in there and I will respond to it because, like I said, I love connecting with you all. So, are you ready to get into our discussion today? To be comfortable in discomfort. Oh my goodness, guys. I tell you, I feel like we got to get some music or something when we drop something as grand as that. So, you know, I like to start our discussions off with a clear meaning and a definition. So, this is no different. So, I'm going to give you actually the meaning of two words today. And the first word is this: comfortable. It means inviting or cozy. So, once again, we're getting the understanding of the word comfortable. It means inviting or cozy. Our second word that we're going to get an understanding of and a definite meaning of is this: discomfort. It means pain or uneasy. Notice that huge contrast there. So, discomfort is pain or uneasy, and comfortable is inviting and cozy. Okay, so remember that now. You know, whisperers, how many times have you heard someone say, I prefer things the easy way? How many times have you heard that? I said, you know what? If I heard that, the more that I hear it or hear people say that, I wish I had a quarter for every time I heard it because I would be so wealthy. I would literally be so wealthy. And do you know that as people, this is the way we prefer things to be in our lives? Yeah, I know, right? And you know that we possess a natural inclination to stick with what we know. That mindset, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it, would apply there because we stick with what we know. So if it's not broken, why should I fix it? Why should I change it? Why should I even move the dynamics of things onto a different plateau or anything? So to resist the unknown so we can remain comfortable is a way that we begin thinking in things. And this many times comes from the fear of trying something new. Fear, that debilitating word that keeps us prisoner or holds us captive. You know, last week I gave the lecture. Last week I did a lecture on not allowing fear to take mastery of your mindset. Notice that word that I used there, the mastery of your mindset. That means to take control and to hold it prisoner. And that's what fear does to us. It holds us prisoner and keeps us trapped in a mindset that does not allow us to pivot or grow or move into that greatness that we want to walk in. And in that lecture, I stated fear is the repeat offender a, of dream crushing, a repeat offender of a dream crushing. And it's a total dream crusher. Fear takes you away from the ability to tap into your dreams. It takes you away from the ability to grow and to blossom into the person or the object of things that you want to pour into that has the ability to take you to the next level in your life. And you know, whisperers, but in today's disruptive and unstable world, it helps to change your relationship or that mindset, as I stated, and become comfortable being uncomfortable. I know that sounds like such an oxymoron, even like what I had wrote in the description box of this episode of it being, is that just an oxymoron that we hear? See, many times we think life is about creating safety, security, and pursuing contentment. Now, don't get me wrong, these things are definitely important. But life is filled with pleasures and pain. Remember, I'd speak to you about ebbs and flows in our life? And that's what life is. It's a matter of ebbs and flows that we have in life and what comes in at that time and how we deal with it. Remember, I had given you all a topic a couple of weeks back, not too far back. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look even in on our list in right here on YouTube, you'll see do you manage or are you able to embrace stress? Because see, there's a difference there. And when we embrace certain things, it helps us to pivot, it helps us to grow, it helps us to maintain and move forward. And see, when we have those ebbs and flows in life, meaning we have our peaks where everything is an a positive or an uptake, that booster that I tell you about, then we have times where we face lows. And that's normal. Like I said, that's normal. Because if we had everything in our life that was always on and up, how do you learn how to deal with conflict? How do you learn to master the hardships in life? How do we learn to even be able to, move and maneuver in things that we need to learn about? We don't. We never get to do that. We never get to even show up for ourselves in that way. So, by focusing only on the comfort side of the picture, we cut ourselves off from the full range of, human experience and the knowledge, skills, and empathy that can come with the other side we would never even tap into. Because if you look at it this way, I like to always give you guys examples of certain things. I always say that when we look at certain things and we look at it from a standpoint of empathy, Empathy comes a lot of times from our experiences in life or how we see things with other people that are going through these obstacles in life. And so that's what we tap into when we're on that side of discomfort. We're tapping into different elements inside of us that we need to be able to grow and to nurture and to be able to input and pour into other people. And you hear that word a lot of times with me where I say pour into. But see, a lot of times people may be pouring into, but not receiving or receiving that refill that they need. And so that's why this discussion is so important. So if you're uncomfortable with discomfort, right? You probably run away from uncertainty and change. And in today's world, you cannot run away from change. We have to be willing to change. We have to be willing to look at things differently because that's how we keep that growth mindset. Remember, I told you 2021 and beyond is a growth mindset. And I have something developing for you all that you're going to realize and tapping into that growth mindset. I have something special that I'm going to be launching and giving to you all at the end of this discussion. So, meaning this, whisperers, when you constantly or consistently avoid conflict or discomfort, you never learn tactics to help you cope or process those discomforting moments effectively. Did you hear that? Let me reiterate that, okay? So if you never learn tactics to help you cope or process those discomforting moments effectively, you'll never be able to have change. So let me give you an example. So let's say you never baked a cake before in your life and you didn't have instructions, you didn't have a recipe or anything like that. Do you really think you would produce a cake that could be, that you could eat or enjoy? No, you couldn't. Because, see, it wouldn't turn out correctly. You might put in too much baking soda, or you might use too much of another ingredient, or not enough of an ingredient that your cake wouldn't rise. It would just be heavy and dense. But let's take that example and you apply it into a way that now you have someone there that is instructing you, that is helping you to really learn how to make this cake. They even given you a full set of instructions. And they're telling you step by step that you only need a teaspoon of this, you need a cup of that, you need a stick of butter. Your cake will turn out beautifully if you follow those instructions. But if you don't, it'll be just like the cake that you didn't have anyone to tell you how to do this. So if you're uncomfortable with discomfort, you probably run away from uncertainty and change. But meaning that, whispers, you constantly and consistently avoid conflict and discomfort. Remember, I told you that earlier. So when we learn things, we're able to do things differently. We're able to accept and walk into this. And this is the same with how we deal with conflict or discomfort. And if we always are running away from discomfort, how do we learn the effective uses or techniques that we need to handle or use in moments as stepping stones into our success? See? Do you see that? I'm bringing that into a full circle moment for you all. I'm telling you that when we learn how to effectively deal with discomfort, of being able to sit back for a minute, to feel it, to understand it, to realize what it is, we're able to tap into abilities that are far more exceeding and beneficial for us. So, in turn, we're able to be comfortable in discomfort. Right? I know it's like blowing your mind. I know this is a discussion, like I said, it's deep, but it's really tapping in on that ability of us handling things, effectively handling things, and understanding why we need to be comfortable with discomfort. Because sometimes we got to be uncomfortable for growth. If you think about when you're growing as a child, sometimes there's moments that you're awkward. You're awkward in your own body and everything else because you're growing. But as it just continues, you learn how to handle it. You learn how to handle yourself. And lo and behold, it becomes a benefit and you're able to process and keep moving in this way. Whispers to fully live and thrive. We must be willing to step into the unknown. We have to be willing to do it. Now, I didn't say that it was going to be easy, and I didn't say that it was something that wasn't going to be challenging. I said, but we have to be willing to do it. And now I want you all to start thinking of change in a different way. I want to help you all to think of it in different ways and not in a negative way or having a negative connotation. Instead of saying, like, change happens to me, think of it like making it like this: change happens for me. Isn't that powerful? You see just that pivot in the wording and how we address it? So instead of us saying change happens to me, we change that totally and pivot it into something so positive that change happens for me. And accepting that change is inevitable can be a very freeing and comforting thought. I always like to use like different things and different examples. And I think of this in this way. You know, um, I've had things happen in my life and things that I've had to adjust to and change, and different things that have been just totally a discomfort. And but because I never ran away from it, I never shrugged it off. I went on face forward to it. I can say that it is helping me to grow as an individual. It's helping me to blossom in ways that I never really thought about before. But opening up my mind in a way that is just kind of bringing in, like, being a catalyst to something dynamic. And that's what we need. Sometimes we need to allow things to be ushered in so we can be that catalyst and be accepting and pivot and blossom in different ways. I use the weeping willow in a lot of my examples because of how adaptable that tree is. Most of you may not even realize that the weeping willow, its branch and rooting system is so vast and so wide and large that when people plant it, they have to realize what they're doing, because you can't plant it too close to your house because it will, you know, interfere with the structuring of the house. You have to make sure that it's not by your plumbing or by anything that is going to tap into your water lines or anything like that, because their roots are thick and big and they branch far out. But the one thing with the weeping willow, what is so dynamic about it is this: it is able to deal with the ebbs and flows of the environment. It can withstand the worst storms, and it can bow all the way down and then rise back up and still be able to pivot and to wave and to flow gorgeously. That's what we want to be able to do in our lives, and why this particular topic is so important: to be comfortable in discomfort. These are things that we have to learn to be able to grow, to be able to pivot, to be able to walk in that greatness, to be able to withstand the trials that come against us, and to be able to say, yes, I am comfortable in discomfort. And yes, there are going to be difficult times for us to be comfortable, but we are going to learn and how to deal with this type of situation effectively. So, how can you get comfortable being uncomfortable? That's a great question, right? Well, I have a few tips that I'm going to share with you all. And normally I tell you all, make sure you have your notebooks and your pens to take notes. But you know what? If you don't, that's okay. Just pin mark this episode, come back, listen to it. If it's something that you have that you already are doing and already putting into practice, great. But you may need to share this with someone who is not able to be comfortable in discomfort. And I encourage you to share this with them. So I have a ton of notes here. I'm going to take them out and I'm going to go through these, and I want to go through one by one of the tips. And your takeaways will be these tips as well. So just remember, we're going to go one by one with it. When we're experiencing feelings of discomfort, don't run away from them. Remember, I told you, we're not running anymore. We're not going to be running. We're not track stars. So instead, embrace whatever comes up and acknowledge that it is natural, a natural human reaction. So when we are acknowledging our feelings, it removes, notice that, it removes the stigma of fear. Isn't that dynamic? That's a powerful statement in itself. It helps us to look at the situation with clarity and not just react. So, literally, when we acknowledge these feelings, when we are not just reacting and running away, it empowers us. It empowers us to react in a positive manner. It helps us to look at the situation with clarity and not just react. I look at things so through my mind's eye a lot of times. And when I develop these discussions, sometimes, you develop a topic and it just resonates so deep within you because you go through things, and as a therapist you hear a lot of things from clients, you see different things, and even how their lives are shifting and pivoting, and how the discomfort comes about, but how we look at it and handle and maintain it is what helps us to be able to pivot and shift. And so discussions like this just really tap deep into me, and I love it. And I love being in our safe zone, having discussions like this. So, number 2 is this: become aware of what you are telling yourself and your thinking. And notice the story you're telling yourself about the situation. Ask yourself, is it true? Or how do you know? Whisperers, I speak all the time and I teach a lot of times about self talk and the power of self talk. You got to be careful of what you say to yourself. If you say to yourself negative things or you're walking in a negative way, you are telling yourself in your heart and your mind that you are not worthy, or you are not welcome to having comfort, or you're not welcome to having that self compassion. See, words are powerful, and words that we say to ourselves are more powerful than you will ever imagine. We could take away so much from ourselves just by speaking them into our minds and just having them sit there and to just keep just what is the word that I'm looking for? Just keep on that it erodes what we're developing in us. That's what negativity and negative self-talk does. It erodes your mind. It erodes your self-worth. It erodes the ability to be able to pivot and change acceptably and adaptably into comfort, where comfort is no longer there. And so you can't be comfortable in discomfort because you're not able to, because you've already tore yourself down with negative speech and disrupting thoughts. And that's what we don't want to do. The third tip is this: reframe discomfort as a positive source for growth and get curious in the face of the unknown. Reframe discomfort as a positive source of growth or for growth and get curious in the face of the unknown. That's powerful. So, what is meant by reframing or to reframe? This means that we have to be willing to express our discomforts in different, more positive light. And when we reframe things, it allows us to see things in a different place, opening our minds into possibilities. It's just that dynamic. It's that dynamic. And, when you feel uncomfortable with uncertainty or you're reframing that uncertainty, that's when that growth is starting to take place. That's when that growth is really cutting into everything that we want, everything that we need, everything that we're trying to pour into ourselves, because we are doing everything we need to do at that time to reframe, restructure, and to keep going. It's powerful. It's a dynamic energy that we're doing. Woo! I tell you, this discussion is firing me up. If it's not firing you up, honey, I don't know what. But this is the thing. I want you to be comfortable in discomfort. I want you to be able to pivot and to grow and to be dynamic in your energy. So that leads us into the fourth step is this. When you feel uncomfortable with uncertainty, access your personal accelerators like courage, connection, compassion, and manage your hijackers like being controlling or competitive or over pleasing to other people. Notice that word, your hijackers. We have to be in control of the hijackers of our emotions, our feelings, our pivots and changes that it's going to weigh in on and not allow us to be able to change effectively. I'm telling you, I am so fired up from this discussion today, Whisperers, that I tell you this. I'm one person who feels like I have got to be able to pivot and change at all times. I don't want to be a singular vision kind of person, not at all. I want to be able to come in and be something dynamic in my life, not even just for myself, but even for you all, even for my child, even for my husband, my friends, people that I see on a regular basis. And when I'm being able to pour into you all like this, oh my goodness, I get so excited and so turned up that I have to control myself. because I've learned that being comfortable in discomfort is such a powerful thing. And it's so rewarding in the end because we have such an ability to just be dynamic in things that we didn't even know that we could do, or we didn't know we possessed, because we set ourselves back or put these limits into us, or just put these beliefs into our mind. But see, when we're learning and we're taking action in such a way, in this way, it evokes such emotion and power. And to be this vulnerable in our growth is just a dynamic thing. And our minds is just, it's a level where people need to try to reach. And I tell you, if you're not a person who is vibrating at a higher decimal, surround yourself with people that are doing that. Surround yourself with people that have learned how to pivot effectively and learned how to be comfortable in discomfort, because they are winning, they are successful, and they can help you to pivot and to change the trajectory of your mind and of your heart in such a positive manner. You know, this discussion brings up what I wanted to talk to you all about, because, Whispers, when you start to implement these tips, it will allow you to be comfortable in discomfort. And it allows us to pivot into positivity and not to hinder the growth mindset that I keep telling you all about. You know, we're about to launch something major, and our wait list is actually up and open right now for a dynamic masterclass. And the masterclass is on declutter your mind. And I have to tell you, I'm in this masterclass pouring into you all and being able to teach you the tools that are going to help you to pivot, that are going to help you to declutter your mind. Think about it like this: you may have that junk drawer in your home, and it has a little bit of everything in there, and it never fails that when you need something, that you really need something, you have to go to that drawer. And you're rifling through that drawer and you're frustrating yourself because you know you saw it in there, but you just can't put your finger on it. Well, it's the same thing that goes on in our mind when we're bombarded with so many things, not really knowing how to effectively handle them or equipped to handle them, that our minds become so cluttered that we can't even sit with our families to just watch a great show, because lo and behold, the thoughts keep bombarding us and we're just pulled aside, or you're so bombarded with thoughts that you're forgetting to do key elements in your life. You must join this masterclass. Get on the wait list. So when it's time to enroll, we'll push that enrollment out to you. You'll be able to enroll and just be there for this dynamic masterclass. And it is pivoting and changing people's lives drastically. We're just finishing up one, and it has been so powerful to see even the shifts that the participants are making right there as we're in this class, and right there as we're starting to wrap up, and the things that they're saying, the way that they're feeling, how they're looking at things. They're shifting that mindset to be able to be comfortable in discomfort. Oh my goodness, guys. It is powerful. It is that powerful. And I'm excited to be able to pour into you, into that masterclass. I am telling you, I have done many workshops, and I have done many classes for participants. But this one, I have to tell you, I love. because it's really tapping into you and tapping deep, and it's allowing you to go on and to be successful in the areas you want. And that's what this is about. That's what Whispers in a Bottle is about. That's who Sonya LaRae is. And that we're giving this into you all every week. And I love it. So I want to also leave you with this before we get ready to close out the discussion. You don't want to the lack of being able to be comfortable in discomfort to be your kryptonite that keeps you from achieving. You don't want it to be your kryptonite. And some of you all might be a Superman fan and know what that means, to be weakened by the element of being uncomfortable or not having that comfort or in discomfort. We don't want to be that way. So here's your takeaways, guys. Don't run away from your feelings. Do not run away from them. Be very conscious of your self talk. Realize the power of self talk, what it really is. Be very conscious that you're not telling yourself negative things, because negativity is like trying to poison someone else, but you drink the poison yourself. That's what that is. We're going to reframe. Be willing to express our discomfort in different, more positive ways. So we're reframing it. We're getting a better picture of what comfort and discomfort looks like. Don't let the hijackers take over or derail your goals. That's that inability to really pivot and change. That's that inability to be able to be comfortable in discomfort. That's that inability to change the negative self talk. Hijackers. Get used to that word, use it. And make sure you join our wait list for Declutter Your Mind. Because, like I said, that is going to be powerful. It's going to usher in so much for you all. And that clarity is like a bell being rung. It's literally like a bell has just been set off. And that's what I want to do. You know, Whisperers, I love that we can have these topics, these discussions with each other. I have to tell you, I look forward to Friday every week. And not because it's the end of the week or anything, but because I get to come in this room with you all. And I get to really just pour into you for another dynamic discussion. And I love it. And I love being able to know that we are connected in that way. So, you know, guys, I want you to connect with me even outside of Whispers in a Bottle right here in our safe zone. I'm on social media. I want you to join me on Instagram. You can find me at www.instagram.com/whispers in a bottle _podcast. Once again, that's www.instagram.com/whispers in a bottle _podcast. I'm on Facebook at www.facebook.com/whisper, no S on there, in a bottle. So once again, that's Facebook at www.facebook.com/whisper in a bottle. And look, you're always welcome to come over to Blog Talk Radio because I'm live every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the cocktail mocktail going on over there. And I want you to join our fabulous newsletter. You see it scrolling across the bottom of our page here. Make sure that you're a part of it. We're pouring such dynamic information into it. And, you know, Whisperers, I just thank you so much for always being here, for always supporting me, for giving freely into my conversations. I just love it. And thank you for being here on Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. I am your host, Sonya LaRae, lifestyle relationship counselor, educator, and definitely motivational speaker. And I love being here. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. Please be safe. Make sure that you're wearing your mask and washing your hands, but please make sure you keep our little people who cannot be vaccinated safe too. All right, guys, until next week, have a great weekend and we'll talk again soon. Oh, and enjoy your family. All right, guys, take care.